At the end of this race to strike.
It's amazing, we see this quite often in the 1000k race at the mountain. Early hours of the race, a lot of cars crash, get weeded out, go out, and then you have a long period of flat-out green flag racing. And the pressure is on here. These are lap after lap of qualifying speed driving.
Well, the most amazing thing is that we're heading up to our 5th hour of racing, 119 laps. Not a sign of rain.
On this lap in the second sector, both Kellys have recorded all but the same lap time. They're 7/10,000ths of a second apart. It's not a lot.
It's just incredible, isn't it?
Well, that's the gap. 10.4 seconds between them.
Big brother.
Big brother comes through the chase already. Younger brother is around the VIP Pet Foods corner, which is turn 17. And speaking of 17, Stephen Johnson has certainly had one of those days. He's with Grant Kenny.
Steve, you were having quite a good run there and it all just stopped.
Mate, literally, yeah, it just stopped like the ignition switch had failed or it turned itself off, so we don't know what happened. Got out of the car and checked all the plugs, checked all the ignition wires, all the coil wires, all the ECU wires, and then got back in the car and flicked the switches about 1 million times and just started to fire and pop after a while, so I did it all again and then it fired. So I don't know, it's either a faulty switch of some sort.
No problem since then?
No, mate, the thing was going really good. I mean, we were able to punch out a few 9.4s and it was really going well. So it's the first car I've driven that actually gets faster when the fuel light lightens.
Perhaps you should have just got out and given it a good kick. Good luck for the rest of the day.
Thanks, mate.
Oh, no, look at this. Car 4.
Under control.
Ambrose Ingle car.
Fuel again, Marcus. It'll be full of fuel.
They've got a problem with the tyre. Marcus is talking about it delaminating, and he's asking for a roll centre change as well.
Wow, coming in under green flag conditions. This isn't what you want. You dump a ton of time doing this. Daryl's on the spot.
Yeah, guys, I've watched them come in here. There's actually the right front tyre there. There's a shot of it. It's actually really delaminated a lot, Neil, and the same with the left front as well. But there was talk initially here that some of the tyres that have been roaded earlier on, say this morning when temperatures were lower, and they'd only done 1 or 2 laps, and Dunlop guys felt maybe that could something to do with it, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Effectively, that's these blokes out of the game, isn't it?
It's going to hurt. Unless it's a safety car, they've dropped a ton of time here.
Pretty significant moment, but still in terms of championship, because of the way the points are staggered, it's not going to hurt too much, but
they wanted to win this.
They wanted to win this, and I think a lot of people thought they were going to come into this race with enough pace to do it, but they just don't have the setup, and to sustain this leading pace is hurting the tyres too much. They've had to come in and grab another one, and they've had to make another chassis adjustment to try and not knock these things around any more than they currently are. Look at that. Just ripping the tread off that casing.
Nasty stuff, and a very telling moment for Stone Brothers Racing. Number 4, Marcus Ambrose, in pit lane, under green conditions.
Well, they'll be praying for a safety car, and I reckon the Super Chief Autos team would too. Look at that last lap. 2:09.6 for Rick Kelly, race leader. A 9.4 for Todd Kelly, and 11 for Luke Youlden. The gap now 15.9 seconds between car 1.
Whee! Car 44 is now a 3-wheel affair. The rear left going down Conrod Straight.
So much expectation built around this car coming into this race. It's been a disaster.
How scary is that?
Absolute disaster.
That's coming down into the chase.
That's how you go from hero to zero in the space of a month. Car 2 sneaks up in car 16, so that's Longhurst in front of Marshall. That puts him up to 6th spot. Luke Youlden, 15.9 seconds now behind Todd Kelly. They're trying to crack the whip. They're trying to get more speed out of the youngster, but they're slipping away from him. And everyone here, as we approach this final fuel fill, will be praying for a safety car. But it's been a long run on green. Last safety car was lap 79, but now on lap 120. It's been a massive run. So pressure's on here. 127.86 at the second split for Rick Kelly, a 27.6 for Todd. Youlden hasn't got there yet. But Every second counts here. 1:28.3. So he's continuing to lose time to those two Commodores in front. Seaton's another 13.5 seconds behind the Super Cheap Autos car.
We're about to tick over into our 5th hour completed of race time. And here comes 44. I don't know how he's piloting that through just on 3 wheels. Well, he's managed to come in, get another one, and come back in again. Grant Kenny.
Jason, what happened there was a scary moment.
Yeah, it certainly was for Willsey. It looks like we got a puncher, and then unfortunately the wheels work loose and come off, and certainly not the place you want to do down Conrod, but it's been a tough day for Team Dynamic.
It's been a tough weekend, really, hasn't it?
It certainly has, yeah. We had a bit of a few problems with power steering and qualifying, but the Wheeled Industries car, I mean, it goes well. Just we've had so many little problems. We got T-boned in the early stages of the race by David Bernard with no brakes, and, you know, it's hard to come back from 16 laps down.
The new car, to come with a new car was a big decision after your performance at Sandown. What are your thoughts on that now?
Look, it was a big decision, but as we've pointed out to many people before, we're a team who want to win, and we thought the new car would give us the difference between the old car and the new car to win, and unfortunately it hasn't happened this way.
All right, Jason, thanks for that.
Thanks, Grant.
Ross, can you shed any light on the problems that's been happening with the front tyres?
Oh, I think that one that we've just had a problem there was a flat spot. There's no doubt about that. We've had a couple of little nicks, but that's mainly from going over curbs and stuff. But I think that was just one of those things that happen sometimes.
What about as far as the car goes now for the rest of the race with fuel?
Well, the problem is we're a couple of laps short of doing it without another stop. So we really need a pace car or something.
All the best.
Okay, thanks, Darren.
Ross Stone. And we can take a look at some action here of car number 18. That's David Brabham and the Shell Helix Ford slowing right down at the S's. And behind him, there goes Thomas Mazera.
This could be the safety car they run.
Well, if Thomas gets going, he's got it fired up. Is he going to get out of this on his own steam? Yeah.
Don't want to be doing a 2-point turn there.
Look at that. Steep
like an American cop show there. Oh, it was car 51 too, race leader. Next car to arrive on the scene, so Thomas got out of the way just in the nick of time.
See, he's gone out onto that same gravel that got carted forward onto the track earlier in the day, so can you believe that? So it looks as though it may have just been a flat spot from some aggressive braking somewhere from Marcus that has damaged the inside edge of that front tyre.
He's now down in 11th position. We can go down to pit lane.
Well, Matty, in fact, I've wandered out the back of pit lane into the paddock, right into the Holden Racing Team garage. You can see a little bit of blow drying going on here, trying to get some of the sweat and things out of the gloves. We'll follow through here and see if we can find Jimmy Richards, Mark Scaife's partner, Tony Strawn here, making sure his helmet is okay as well. And Jimmy Richards is out the back. You've just had a bit of physio and things like that before you head out, have you?
No, I just had a shower and dried off the underwear and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, ready to go again.
What really goes on when you've got a bit of downtime like this? How do you prep for the next stint?
I just eat some fruit, have some water and a bit of stuff, have a shower, clean Nomex underwear and dry your undies and dry your socks, dry your boots, so that you feel like, you just started the day. So it's good.
The car's been performing so well all weekend. How's the race been thus far for you?
The race has been terrific so far. It hasn't missed a beat. It's going fantastic. I think I think we'll be up there with the leaders at the end. Just a matter of waiting till the last sort of 20 laps when everyone's on the same schedule to know where you are in the scheme of things.
We know you're watching the clock. Head down to pit lane. Thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks, mate. Bye.
Could be a nail biter, particularly if a safety car comes out and bunches these blokes up.
Tony's got this thing by the scruff of the neck at the moment, hasn't he? He's really pushing hard.
He's got some attitude on it, doesn't it? Very, very much close to the limit.
He said this was far and away the best car he's ever driven here at Mount Panorama.
So close the gap to John Bower, who's in 5th place, Longhurst in 6th. You can see there, the last lap he managed to close the deficit a little bit. Car 20, the second of the Orcon Falcons, the Wade Johnson machine. But Rick Kelly, 8.5 seconds in front of Todd Kelly. Todd is just continuing to chomp into that lead.
Now down to 8.1, Marco. So that last lap was a 209.4 from Todd and a 209.8 from Rick.
Incidentally, the corrected PitSmart computer corrected positions is showing exactly the same in the top positions, at least, as what we've got on the race score at the moment. And here's the physical gap between first and second. It's 8.1 seconds last time across the finish line.
Well, Yulden's done another 11, so that's pumped the gap out to 18.8. It's getting up toward 20 seconds now. So Luke has not been able to respond to the speed of the two Holdens in front of him, and that gap has grown progressively through his stint. Here it comes, Super Cheap Autos car. Now, they will be praying for a safety car because Steve Ellery is obviously the faster driver of the two, and if they can compress this field, it's going to put him in a very competitive position for the run to the flag. But we haven't had a safety car for an awfully long time. Lap 79, last intervention. We're up to lap 123.
Getting right toward that period of 30-odd laps to go. Holden has won here on the mountain the last 4 years straight. The last Ford was in '98 when Jason Bright and Stephen Richards did it for SPR. Right now, it's a Holden 1-2 at the front. Rick Kelly versus Todd Kelly. Murphy will step in the car of 51 shortly. Skate will get back into car number 1, and then we'll take aim at the finishing line of the Bob Jane T-Marts 1000.
Welcome back, and we hope our international viewers are enjoying this coverage of the Bob Jane T-Marts 1000, in particular those viewers from New Zealand, because Greg Murphy is leading this race. At the moment, his co-driver Rick Kelly is behind the wheel of car 51. But Murph is the man. If you leave Auckland Airport before the Pukekohe round, you'll see his big head filling up billboards. He's very popular. It's a fearsome sight, in fact. Scaford Todd Kelly. Now, this is the story. In fact, the gap has widened a little bit. However, it's a lot better than it was a few laps ago. Kelly, that's Todd, I should say, 8.6 seconds behind his brother. And Matthew White, in terms of the championship, which is brought to you by VB and Big Pond, there is some interesting news regarding points if they stay as they are.
Yeah, if they finish in this order, Murphy will only be 46 points adrift of Marcus Ambrose. The battle between first and second, that's unadjusted. And as I mentioned about 12 hours ago, that opens a whole can of worms. But really, this day, no matter which way you look at it, is all about this moment. Crunch time. And Rick Kelly is consistently bringing down his times. We're on lap 127. On lap 124, Rick went into the 9.4s. The lap after, he went 209.3. The gap between him and his brother Todd is about 8 seconds. And 8 seconds, as you just saw there, is about half of Mountain Straight.
They're trading blows, aren't they?
Rick's last lap, though, was a 10.3, so that hurt. Brought the margin down to 7.8 seconds. Darryl.
Yeah, I'm down here with the Super Cheap team. Stephen Ellery here now, putting his helmet on, getting ready. The team are now just monitoring everything, and they say the earliest they can come in is pretty much in the next lap or two, but they're planning on definitely being in around lap 130, 131, and Steve will take the car to the end. They're really happy with the car at this time.
So they should be, because they're headed for another podium. Luke Yulden and Stephen Ellery, second at Sandown. And if things stay the way they are, they'll be third here at Mount Panorama.
Great battle amongst these two brothers. First sector split, 52.39 for Rick, 52.36. So it's down to 3 100ths. They are just, you can just imagine the focus, Neil Crompton, in those cars. They would be in such a zone, wouldn't they?
I said to you during the break, Mark, that this stint is a great stint for a driver. It's green. There's been relatively little nonsense. In fact, I think none. Lots of empty space for you to get on and do your job, find your rhythm and drive the wheels off the car. All of the drivers in this stint will have enjoyed driving their racing cars. Big numbers coming out of them lap after lap. The fuel's burning off at a rate of about 3 kilos a lap. And they're getting faster and faster as they get towards the end of this stint.
And I guess for people at home, they wouldn't understand that. 1,000-kilometre race, you are driving every lap as hard as you can physically make that car go.
Yeah, this notion that you kind of just drive around here and then eventually you get on it at the end is not the case anymore.